We are going to do the valve train. Get the cylinder heads back on this engine. It ain't nothing. They need to have a slight crown. These do not go into the water jacket. The no holes goes in the front of your motor. A roundy smooth side and a machine flat side. That cylinder head is done. And what they take is one about a ½ inch shorter. I'm a redneck. Why you gotta have funny names that no one can pronounce? And if it spins easy, she's right. You notice they say 7.1 and see that they're about a ½ inch longer. And you wanna make sure that that flat side is facing up. Just a hair past center. Just until you feel it snug and go ½ a turn. That's it. Oh no, we're good. Hey, welcome back to Fixing Things. Back again on the 302, the budget build 302. On today's video, we're gonna put the cylinder heads back on it. We're gonna do a little bit of review what we got done, and we are gonna do the valve train. But what we're not gonna do is be able to put it down inside the motor, down inside the engine bay. My son came over and he noticed something. The starter is too big to fit by the frame rail. So I ordered a one of those mini high torque starters, and it'll be here next week, but it ain't here today. I do have time to get it done today, but we're not going to be able to do it today. But we are going to get the cylinder heads back on this engine and get the valve train adjusted for the first time, and probably get some odds and ends done for this video to get it ready to drop back in. Because, man, I'm eager to get the Pinto running. You know what I mean? Probably maybe even take some measurements on a drive shaft. Maybe I'll order up some drive shaft components and we'll build our own drive shaft. Just like we did on the Mihal truck. It ain't nothing. It's not that hard to build a drive shaft. All right, so let's get this thing put back together. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the block surface off. We got all the machining done inside the motor. Did it myself. Used the cut the valve relief pockets in the pistons with a grinder disc on a drill. But we're going to take a little bit of brake clean. We're not going to spray it on there because we don't want to take the oil off of the cylinders that we put on there. So we're just going to put it on a rag and just get the oil off of the cylinder head. Not the cylinder head, the deck surface of the block. Get all that off. See? We got a little bit of dirt on there. Now we know it's going to seal real good. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay. All right, so I went ahead and put an old t-shirt down inside the lifter valley because we're going to spray some copper head gasket spray on the block. Sorry, that's hitting my microphone. On top of the block machine face here, on the deck face. And the reason why we're doing this is because this is what I like to use. So it's always good to use something that you're sure works. And this stuff here is an awesome head gasket sealer. Now, I'm sure the head gaskets work just fine, and I put motors together without it. But I ain't never had a head gasket go when I use the copper head gasket cleaner. Now I want to put a little bit of folklore to rest on your bottom cylinder head bolt holes. They do not go into the water jacket. If you're having a water seep out your water bolts, it's probably because you got a cracked block. Probably because you got a cracked block, or you had moisture inside the bolt holes when you torqued them down, like water. So a good thing to do is take an air compressor and blow out these holes, and don't fill them up with oil, because when you're torquing them down, you can break and crack your cylinder block. But we're going to put some copperhead gasket spray, nice smooth even coat on there. Got shake, 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 shake your can up. There we go. And you don't want this stuff here in your lifter bores, because that could stop your lifters from rotating. That's why I got the t-shirt covering up those lifter bores. Engine braking failures is due to the lifters, and either they're not rotating or they're just bad lifters. Now, we already tested on the last video, and I'll put a little diagram up right here on what you're looking for. So what you're looking for is a crown on your lifters, and it's imperative that your lifters not be flat on flat tappets. They need to have a slight crown. Now, I see some people, they'll butt them together like this. That's not the correct way to do it. You take one lifter, put it on its side, then take the other to its machine surface side, the tappet side, and put on it and see if it rocks. And then reverse it and do it to the other one. Then you know both those got a little bit of a crown. It's only like from 1 to 3 thousandths. It's barely little. But if you put both ends end to end to do it, and you get rocket movement, that only tells you that at least one of them has a crown in it. The other one may be flat, and you're only seeing the crown on the other one. So you want to make sure you're using a machine surface that's flat to check your crown on your lifters. That's an important fact from Pastor Bill. So these guys right here, these are super important. And I've seen guys leave these off. I pulled people's motors apart before that didn't have these in them. And what these things do is make sure your cylinder heads are lined up to your block. Because your motor still may run and fire and may bolt together and do all the things it's supposed to do, but your valves could hit your cylinder walls if these things, especially on big 202 valves and stuff. It's imperative that you get these in. And they just go on each lower corner of your deck face. So now we got those in. We're ready to put the studs down. Now we're using aluminum cylinder heads. They're Pro Comp cylinder heads. I already had them on the block one time before. You can go back and review it. This time they're going in for good. We're going to put the the studs in, and we're going to use blue Loctite, not red Loctite, but blue Loctite on the threads, just a little bit. If you put too much in there, you could crack your cylinder if it gets too wet down the bottom of your bores, the bolt holes. So on your studs, you got a fine thread and a coarse thread. And your coarse thread goes down into your block. And these things are already got anti-seize and everything on them. I use anti-seize on them because of dissimilar metals. So the thing is with steel and aluminum, they don't like each other. They don't like each other at all. So when you put your steel against your aluminum, it has like some type of electrolysis action that goes on with it, and it like defoliates, crystallizes the two metals together. They don't like each other. Just going to put a little drop, not much at all on there. And this may act like a thread sealer too. We're going to put the short ones on the bottom. They do not need to be torqued in. I just use just an Allen wrench and butt them down. That's it. Like I said, hey, easy cheesy, coconut peasy. This, I'm not the most expert engine builder in the world. This is the first time I've used aluminum cylinder heads. Not using too much at all. Oh, I hear a truck out there. Maybe they're bringing me some parts. Maybe we can do some more. Yesterday, I was feeling okay, but it's like my body was telling me I needed to rest. And if you've been keeping up with my channel, I need a heart valve. And so I have to take it easy. All right, we got all the studs in. What you don't want to do is you do not want to use your thread locker on your nuts that are going on top. Now, some of you may be saying, why are we using thread locker on the stud? All right, so you're not trying to get your torque specs on the block no more. You're getting your torque specs on the top of your bolts. And these are already got the lube already on them. I did it from the last time. And the reason why you put thread locker in there is when you're taking the nuts off later on, let's say you blow a head gasket, you're racing, you're using too much nitrous, whatever, you lift the thing. When you're taking your nuts off, you don't want your bolts to come out with it, right? So by using an oil or a anti-seize on your bolts, thread locker in there assures that your studs are going to stay in the block when you're taking the heads off and on, especially if you're doing a lot of racing and stuff like that where you're constantly taking your cylinder heads off. All right, so we got these on now. Now it's time to put head gaskets on. All right, so here's my cylinder head gasket. And one thing you should note here is there's holes in the water jacket here for the water passages and no holes up here, or little teeny holes. And so the no holes goes in the front of your motor. That's just the way it's done. So here you have big holes. And this allows the water to flow through the block, up and through, back through the head, or vice versa. If you put the holes to the front, it's just going to circulate to the front of the motor, and the back half of your motor is going to get hot. So these holes go to the back of your motor. Now we're ready to put the cylinder head on. So the cylinder heads also get a little bit of, and these things ain't that light. Get a little bit of the copper head gasket spray too. And you want to, when you're putting them in, you don't want to put them in upside down. You want to make sure you're not messing up your copper head gasket spray. Should be home. So the copper head gasket spray is, I think it's some type of silicon copper mix or something like that. I'm not a scientist. I should have been. But you know, and it's one of those, maybe silicon copper slash ceramic. I don't know. All I know is from what I've been told over the years ago, and racers use these things, they would use just copper head gaskets, and they would spray it with the copper head gasket spray in top fuel drag racing. And this is back in the day. And the idea was, when it heats, the copper expands more than the regular head gasket does. And also it gets tougher. The copper and the material there gets tougher, and it doesn't allow it to burn out. If you ever tried to cut, oh, never mind. Let's put the nuts on these things. So your nuts for your studs look like this. They're 12-sided. The reason why they're 12-sided is you got 12 points of contact, which gives you ample torque without stripping. Also, on your washer, you have a kind of a roundy smooth side and a machine flat side. The machine flat side always goes down. I don't care what they tell you, it always goes down. The reason why it always goes down, it has the pucker effect, because the pucker effect is always better. Go ahead and put them all around. Now we're going to get the torque wrench out. All right, so before we go snugging any of these down, we want to make sure that the cylinder heads are over top of those round things that we popped in there. They center the head up. Just tap it with a dead blow hammer a little bit. Oh, and it went down. We're good. Just want to make sure they go down over those dowel pins. Now we're going to take my impact driver, but we're not going to impact these things down. We're just going to snug them, starting from the center. Working from the center out. So these little impact drivers, believe it or not, they can drive stuff down to almost 200 foot-pounds, and a lot of people don't seem to understand that. They got a lot of power. And what you don't want to do is start snugging these things out of whack. Start in the center, just where it starts to hit. See, that thing moved, didn't it? Over here to this one. All right. Believe it or not, that cylinder head's probably pretty tight right now. Using a 12-point socket, impact drive, heavy duty, and we want to get, we're going to start by going to like 30 foot-pounds. So you'll set your torque wrench to 30, and on you'll see little lines on your torque wrench. You probably won't be able to see it here, but right now mine's set at 25. That's the last ones we did, and we're going to turn it up. We got to loosen it, and 0 on 30. Then snug that. Don't torque it, just snug it. These things can come out of calibration if you don't take care of them. So the way you torque these things is you start in the center, work these two, then these two, then these two, then these two, then these two. Work your way out. I've seen people, they do that. That's fine too. As long as you start in the center, what you're trying to do, the aluminum is soft. Even in cast iron will bend. But you start with the center and work out. So we got this set at 30. Our torque specs are 65 to 72. So if we hit 70 on our last one, we're going to be well within our torque specs. So we're going to just snug them all up before we even get to the clicks. Kind of just get the feel of the same one. All right. So we'll start in the center and we'll go to 30. Let me double check. Discount double check. We are at 30. I'm just going to double check, make sure we're, see it moved a little bit. By the time you torque one down, you get around. So we're going to go jump it up to 40. 40. Start in the center. Then double check. loosen your lock on there. Rotate it till the 0 comes up to 50. Do the same thing again. Double check. See, it moved. Now we'll rotate it again till we get to 60. Now we're almost within torque specs, 65 to 72. Double check. Now the last one is 70 or 72. All we're going to do is check it, because this is our last one. See, it moved a little bit. Moved a little bit. That cylinder head is done. Now we'll just do the same thing what we did on this one to that one. Whew. This feels good. This is the last time, I hope, that we have to take that cylinder head back off. Whew. There we go. Both cylinder heads are finished now. So your torque wrench, you may be done with it today, and you say, I ain't never building another motor. This is a precision tool. Always take the tension off the inner springs and stuff that's in there. Take it down there below the markings where it rattles. If you hear it rattling, You know it's right. Then you can put it away. It'll be ready to go the next time you use it. Pastor Bill's tip for today. That wore me out doing the torque wrench. Take it easy, Pastor Bill. Take it easy. Now we're going to work on the valve train. So on the last time we worked on the valve train, we came across a few things. One, the rocker arms were not coming up to full halfway through, which telling me the rocker arm, the push rods were not the right length. I reviewed a bunch of other people's videos that use the Pro Comp heads, and they're using push rods that are about 1/4 inch longer than the other ones. So what I did was I put the push rods in there and I pulled up the rocker shaft till it comes up halfway, and it was about 1/4 inch. So I went online and ordered 7/16 push rods, 7.1 inches, and the original ones were 6.88 inches, which refers to, in layman's term, about 1/4 inch. If you're off a 1/16 of an inch or something like that, it's not that big a deal. These things are not going to ride on the center all the way down and all the way up, because what happens is all this valve train, including starting with the lifters down in these bores. We can go ahead and take this up. As the cam is rotating in the motor, the lifters are rotating in its bore because the cam is riding, because and it's all because of your lifter. Your lifter is the prime factor. If the lifter doesn't have that cone to the end of it, your lifter won't rotate. And when your lifter rotates, your valve spring rotates. When your lifter rotates, your push rod rotates. When your push rod rotates, it wears the little sockets and everything evenly. When the rocker arm pushes down on the valve stem, if it only hits the center, it won't rotate the valve. So the valve, the spring, and everything rotates as the engine's running. If you ever seen a video, and these red lines right here, these are on there so that they can see that as you're running a camera or something while the engine's running, you can see these things are turning. Now, these heads got a bearing down at the bottom, and that way they don't bind on the aluminum and start gouging into the aluminum as the spring is turning. So it goes down, turns, goes down, turns, goes down, turns. And that also turns the valve inside the chamber. So it's turning also as it's opening and closing, is rotating just slightly. And that keeps your, because if the valve didn't rotate in the cylinder head, you would burn your valve out. So it's closing and grinding itself every time, just so slightly. When it closes and opens and closes, it's just grinding ever so slightly. So the way it works is the spring wants to twist, and it twists on that bearing surface. And as it's coming up, it's twisting its way, and as it seats, it's grinding your that way it keeps your when you grind your valves, it keeps that edge where it seals in your combustion chamber always has a nice, smooth, clean machine surface. Also, last week we had, on the last time we did this, because they don't tell you when you buy your cylinder heads. I bought the longest ones for the 302 with the 7/16, the bolts. Ended up, they were way too long, and we couldn't get the proper adjustment. Even with the push rods too long. So I had to get shorter ones. So what happened is the poly locks, it would push the poly lock all the way out. It was so long that you couldn't get no threads on the poly lock as it was going down. So we'll go ahead and get the valve train set up and put these on. And we're also going to use a little bit of blue Loctite on the rocker shafts, the rocker stud shaft thingies that go down into the machine surface of the block. A little bit of blue Loctite on there. You looking for some good headers for your ride? Dudes, you need to check Flashark out. I'm going to tell you, they got high quality stainless steel headers. Oh, these things are awesome. You got plenty of room to get your spark plugs in and out of, and that's real stainless steel. Check out them wells. These things will never rust. They'll always look good. Look, easy access to them plugs. Call up Flashark today if you want some high quality headers for your ride, whether it be your Nissan, your Toyota, your Honda, or my Ford Pinto. Hey, they got them. They got what you need. Your F-150s. They got it. Listen. Use my promo code FIX15 and get yourself 15% off all your Flashark needs. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Man, things look good. So on your rocker arm bolts, the standard ones are a lot smaller than these. These are been machined out to the Chevy size, which is 7/16, same as a head bolt. And that being because it takes a lot of twisting and pushing on these things. So the ones that I had bought before is the ones I'm used to buying for when these are like a block of aluminum that sticks up a little higher, and it's not as high as the ones that are on the newer Ford engines where they have the pedestal mount. So I was used to buying these long ones like for the Chevys, and what they take is one about a 1/2 inch shorter, and you notice it's got a lot of threads that go lower, and that's what you want. So what mine was doing before is it would go down and get right to the point where it was at the adjustment, and I'm going to show you how to adjust these. But it goes right down, and then threads would lock on that. Plus the poly lock, when it went down, this was so long that the set screw on top didn't have enough threads to lock it in position. So they needed to have longer threads here and shorter here. So we'll go ahead and get these on. And we're going to be using these Elgin, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce that. Everyone got these funny names. I'm a redneck. Why you got to have funny names that no one can pronounce? We don't live like overseas. Us rednecks, we write like regular names like Jim and John. Why couldn't they could be John Pro Stock instead of Elgin? I don't know. Anyways, these keep your rocker arms from flip-flopping around over top of the valve stem. So they go in like that, and then these go in over top of them, and it holds it all in place. I already checked them. They line up perfect with the valve guide. So put a little bit of thread locker on them. The blue type, so you can get it back off, just a dab. Not too much. Way too much. And you can torque these down probably 60 foot-pounds, you'll be all right. They're the same size as a head bolt. They're hardened steeled. You can torque them all the way down to 70. You don't need to. You really don't need to. I would say anywhere from 50 to 60 foot-pounds is plenty for these guys. Just put them all on. I got to get that stuff up, man. Can't be getting that blue junk all over my motor like that. That stuff ain't no good for my motor. All right. And we'll put them on all like that, and we'll torque them down. All right, so I made a decision, and the decision is I'm going to torque all these to 50 foot-pounds. You don't want to see, if you snatch it, you can get it to go, see? But if you go slow, it'll go some more. Don't snatch your torque wrench. There we go. All of my torqued all of these already. 50 foot-pounds is what I did mine. Now it's time to get our lifters back down in these bores. So what I'm using for assembly lube is 85 140 gear lube. Except don't put the nasty trash in your motor. It's not recommended, it's just what I do. Just going to put a little bit in each bore. And then when you put your lifters in, you want to make sure all your lifters spin easily inside each little bore. Let's get my lifters back out and slide them down into the holes. And they were packed real nice. And they still are. So this is how they came. They were good quality packed. The cheap ones, they come in little cardboard boxes. I put axle grease on the tops, and I'll show you how we check them in the holes. So you just put your lifter down in, and then make sure it spins easy. And if it spins easy, she's right. See the axle grease already on it. Nice. Let me keep those in case I gotta take them back out again, I guess. Always buy your lifters with your camshaft. Make sure they spin. You don't feel no rubbing whatsoever. The camshaft and camshaft components, you try to make sure all this stuff is American made. Rotate smoothly in the bore. Nice and greased. That's axle grease. Axle grease on the tips. Tip for the day, axle grease on the tips. Look at that. That nice and lubed up. Rotate smoothly. No binding whatsoever. Axle grease. All the lifters are down in the holes. Now we can put the push rods in. So here are my this is one of my factory push rods. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this down in the hole. And here is my trick flow. Now I got these from Summit Racing. And these are 7.1 inches long. Now I'm not sure if we're on top dead center. It looks like we're on top dead center. Don't need that. And here they are right here. You notice they say 7.1 trick flow. So we'll show the difference in the height. And see that they're about a quarter of an inch longer. 3/8 of an inch, something like that. Let's go ahead and put the new ones in. They sound a little different too. Hear that? We're going to put some axle grease on the tips too. Little bit of axle grease. Little bit of axle grease in my life. La da dee da dee 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 da da. Now, believe it or not, your push rods and your rocker arms and these studs have nothing to do with the model and make of your car. Both Chevy and Ford and some Mopars use the same ones, just different lengths, that's all. So when I first built my original Mustang, you couldn't buy some of the stuff that was needed to build a car. And so you machined your heads out and put Chevrolet rocker arms components in it. Because the Chevrolet rocker arms were heavier duty than the original Ford. It wasn't until Ford got into drag racing and NASCAR that they start building heavy duty components. We'll put a little bit of grease on the tops. You don't want to get it down in the hole. Don't want to plug up your oil flow. A little bit of looby dooby. All right, so here's my, I'm using the 1.6. These are Ford racing components. I don't know what these are. They could be all Chinese, I don't know. But on your, you can see I already had these things oiled up. There's a side that's got a flat side to it. And you want to make sure that that flat side is facing up when you put these down, when you put them over the shafts. All right, so want to double check and make sure your flat surface is up on all of them. It is on this side. And it needs to have that flat surface up so that your poly lock will ride on that surface. This time we'll just kind of put your poly locks on. One in there, all of them are on. We got all the components. Good thing. Now we're gonna check and see if these are on the center of the, because I haven't ever done it yet on these new push rods. All right, so now we can check our push rod length. And right here is our valve tip of our valve stem, and I adjusted it where this, you can just barely pull the thing, and the rocker shaft doesn't move up or down. And if you notice, it's just a hair past center. And when this thing goes down, it's going to go either to center or just a hair past center the other direction. And that's what we want. So we are right on time there. So you see just barely a hair. So these are the correct ones. Before they were too short and they were on the other side of the of center. And that when it went down, it would have been even shorter. So these are the correct ones. All right, so now we're ready to adjust all these rocker arms. And an important thing to note is, and I've heard many different ways of people doing it, and many people have good ways of doing it. The way I was taught years ago from the racers is when you're using brand new lifters, you use them dry. You adjust them dry. You do not pre-soak your lifters because you don't want hydraulic tension inside your piston of your lifter. When you're doing your adjustment, you'll get a wrong adjustment. Now, a lot of people say once you put your preload on it, it's going to squeeze out that oil anyways. That may be. All I know is all you got to do is turn that thing 1/2 turn more and it's right. So I got a torque wrench with a 7/32 Allen thing for my poly locks for the Allen set key, and I got a 5/8 wrench. And you always adjust your ones on the flat part of the camshaft. And there's many ways of doing it. There's Some people do the method, the corner turn method. Some people just do keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning it until all of them are preset. I do one at a time. That way I know I got it right. So at first you just make sure your poly lock is not locking you out. And you put your fingers on here. And you twist your push rod just until you feel it snug. So you twist the push rod and then keep turning this clockwise until you feel it just gets snug. That's it. That's it. Then you take your wrench and go a half a turn. Just like that. Now you hold that position. That one's in the set position. Take your poly lock, go all the way down. Don't let this thing move. Some people say 3/4 turn. Some people say 1 full turn. Everyone I heard that does it right, racers say half a turn. And we're going to torque this to 25 foot-pounds. That's it. The number 1 intake is done. Now we're going to rotate the motor over. And I know there's faster ways of doing this. We're going to rotate the motor over until, I'm just telling you this way, there's no way to make a mistake, okay? Till the intake valve comes back up. And just starts to go back down the hole. Just right there. As soon as you see that thing go, then you can adjust just turn your push rod. So you can push your preload in if you ain't careful. Just to where you feel it gets snug. That's it. Then a half a turn. No more. That's it. Number 2's done. We'll do the same thing. We'll rotate 1 to 1 is the next one. Is just coming down. We'll go right down the row here. I believe we're there. And go the other way just to double check it. Up. And when it just starts coming down, we can adjust this one. Pull your poly lock up, the set screw part of it, and turn this down till it gets snug. Just to when it gets, you can feel the tension on your fingers, the fingers down here. half a turn. Rotate the motor till the other one comes up. And I leave the wrench on there, that way I know which one I'm working on. This side's done. Now we can roll over to the other side. So I want to show you a little bit how this works. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm rotating the, now this is already adjusted. And if you notice, I'm rotating here, and you can see that lifter is turning in the bore. See that? All this stuff's supposed to turn. Now it ain't going to turn with the pressure on it, but when it's set on preload, they'll all turn. All right, all the lifters are done. All the valve lash, all that stuff is done. Rocker arms are adjusted. Man. Good thing is I didn't hear any pistons smacking the valves. Maybe we'll put a camera down inside the bore and see what we can see. What do you think? I know one thing, my hands are greasy. I don't know what to do with my hands sometimes. I get my hands so dirty, I don't want to get them on my shirt. Okay, we're on the number 3 cylinder, and it's on the valve is, intake valve is at the moving position. And now it's going down. You really can't see too much in there. Losing it, I'm losing it. So it just barely opened. Right in there. Let me see if we can move it a little. Let's get back to the closed position. I should be chasing the piston. Right there, just barely cracked. I think we got plenty of room. All right, you can see the edge of the piston right there. Let's go around all the way the other way. Okay, should we get ready to go? Here it goes. Let's see if you can see the edge of the cylinder right through there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not. I'll go the other way. Oh no, we're good. I think it's a good closing time. Closing time for this video. And man, them rocker arms look good. Hey, God bless each and every one of you. Definitely next week. Definitely next week. We can't put the motor in anyways because I got to get the small starter. And we got to have the starter sitting down in the frame a little bit. So you can see my starter would be hitting the frame before it gets bolted in. So the little dinky starters will fit there, but you got to have the starter sitting in here because there's no room to get it by the oil pan unless we take the motor mount out and slide it in. And we could do that. That's not a problem. We could do that. But I'm gonna wait. We're gonna wait till we get the starter come in. It'll be in next week, definitely. Definitely we can get the ones in this side, and definitely the original exhaust manifolds will bolt in here no problem because we had them in here once already before. But I went ahead and bolted them things on. They look good. This side, like I said, is not a problem. They kind of turn back towards the frame a little bit, but with a little bit of snudging going that way, I think we'd have no problem. This one is where the problem is. If this area here was all the way over towards this, right here where this stud is, it's got to be right up tight against it. If it was right up tight, I'd use these. And if these weren't stainless steel, I would have no problem notch cutting these and bending them where they need to go. There's plenty of room to bend them. So if these weren't stainless steel, I'd have no problem just notch cutting these all and bending them down and welding them back in place. That would not be a problem. Beautiful set of headers though. Oh, these are nice. Oh, beautiful. Anyways, got a lot of work done today. We got the cylinder heads on there. I actually, the number 3 cylinder, I ground the, my son noticed that the one valve, I must have slipped when I was grinding and I didn't grind it up high enough on the thing. So I reground that one and we got that down. We got the cylinder heads on. We got the valve train adjusted correctly. And next week, definitely the motor is going in the hole. We're going to have some tricks I'm going to show you on the intake manifold, some stuff. If you're wanting to make a lot of power with these motors, this is only a flat topped piston, so the most energy. I'm gonna look, Linda, listen, Linda. All you guys out there that are putting these dish pistons in your cars and thinking you're making power, dude. I don't know who told you you can make power with dish pistons. Listen, every car out there that's running like 9 seconds and 8 seconds, they're running high compression pistons. I don't care if they're on the bottle, on the blower or not. They're running high compression pistons. They're running race pistons. They're running specialized pistons with coatings on them and everything else. You are not going to make the kind of power out of a small block Ford to get under 8 seconds unless you're running full tilt race pistons. And I don't care who you are. The most you're going to get out of this motor with the camshaft that's in it is about 350 horsepower, 400, maybe 400. That's pushing it. That's pushing it. Trust me, I know. I had a 302 motor that was doing 750 horsepower. Man, it about break the bank to buy the parts because the parts are specialty parts. And that was on a stock crank. 750 horsepower. Everyone says, your motor's going to blow apart. Your motor's going to crack in half. No. How you drive and how you balance it and everything else all determines, and how you tune it determines whether you're going to crack that motor in half. I mean, yeah, if you're dumping the clutch at 8,000 RPMs and putting all that torque down and everything all of that one last heck of a second, oh yeah, that's like all hell breaking loose at the axle and on that block, putting all that torque out. Yeah, if you're putting that kind of power down and you're doing it like that, yeah, you could split one of these blocks in half. But if you just come off the line with an automatic, got the right stall torque converter, and you can run 8 seconds all day long at 700, even 800 horsepower and not injure the motor. It's a lot of it's how you drive. Listen, this motor will never probably make about 350 horsepower no matter what I do to it. But we're going to get every bit of that 350 horsepower out of it. And not only that, I'm going to tell you the secrets on making that horsepower all the way from about 2,000 RPMs all the way up to about 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs. Anything after 6,000, 8,000 RPMs, man, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. It's undrivable. If you're going to be driving it on the street, that's unusable RPMs. You don't want to be driving down the street at 6,000 RPMs. You don't want to be driving down the street at 4,000 RPMs. Trust me. I had 556 rears, and that motor was screaming going down the road. I was going down the road on I-95 on the interstate trying to go to work one day because my other car broke down. I had to drive my Mustang and had 556 rears, and I was going 6,000 RPMs just to get up to about 55 miles an hour. No, I was probably going 60. About 65 miles an hour at 6,000 RPMs. I'm telling you, if you want to make that kind of power, you got to put some big pistons in there. Everything has got to be perfect when you put it together. To get that kind of power out, you remember we did the time and chain, we put the time and chain in the stock locations. This time and chain, you can retard it or advance the cam. On a stock motor, you do not want to do that. You do not want to retard the camshaft or advance the camshaft. You can retard your timing and advance your timing, but you don't want it because your piston and your valve is chasing that piston down the hole. And if you're retarding the camshaft, you're getting closer and closer tolerance to that your piston to valve clearance. On a street car, you do not want to do that. Especially if you're running an oval track, a dirt track car, you don't want to do that because if you're downshifting the car with a retarded camshaft, you could cause your valve to hit the piston. I'm telling you, the tolerances are really close in these motors, especially if you're using a tall camshaft. And some of your camshafts already come slightly retarded. They do. And you got to run like a 32-degree advance timing to keep them right. So listen, we'll get into some secrets on the intake manifold and everything to get a wide band of power. Man, it's nice to come out start having power out 2,000 RPMs. I mean, good, solid power. Go up the scale and then straight across in a nice flat high power band. That's what I'm talking. That's what this motor is going to do. This motor is going to probably start making about 350 horsepower, right around 2,000 RPMs, and it's going to keep a nice flat curve, not an upright curve. So now we'll get into that later. Listen, God bless each and every one of you. Remember, I can do all things through Christ. Look at that. Look at that. Who strengthens me. He does strengthens me. Oh, I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm getting tired. The bags are coming. I'm back underneath my eyes. But that motor looks good, dude. That motor is awesome looking. it's not going to rust. So, somebody said, hey, you need to put paint on that water pump. It's going to rust. That water pump ain't going to rust. I clear coated it. I even clear coated the cylinder heads too. I don't. We'll do the same thing to the intake manifold. We'll put high gloss clear coat on it, and it won't get that hazy, fuzzy look to it. It'll stay like brand new looking forever. God bless you. I'll see you on the next Fix It Things with Pastor Bill. And look at that motor. Finally got that motor together. She's gonna run. She's gonna run good. She's gonna run. You know, a lot of your power is in your cylinder heads.